Hello everyone, it's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi, and with me are the ladies of Your View. Hello ladies, good morning.
Hello Morayo.
YK in the building.
Good
You're not looking very bright as usual today. I think you have cooler colors.
Wine.
Mine looks, it's cooler.
Yeah.
Usually have those yellow, orange, and you know, like a rainbow. But good to see you. How you doing, YK?
I like all colors, like I've said. I love all the colors.
And we love your hair.
Oh, thank you. See all my grey hair.
Yes, it's so
you.
beautiful.
That's why I wear scarf all the time.
Your hair is beautiful,
Because
YK.
the grey hair has just...
You're not a baby now. Yeah, Nagbalagba. You
Look,
have
I know people of my age don't have even
that's
abnormal.
That's
They
abnormal.
have beautiful hair like you do.
That's abnormal, YK.
See, so
that's
you can
what
have,
we
you cannot
should.
have everything.
Yes,
So you have gray, but it's beautiful.
Beautiful hair.
Oh.
Anyway, how was your weekend?
My grandmother was all
White.
grey at 40.
Wow.
At 40.
So you are lucky.
I'm almost all white. Just the ends.
Anyways, how you doing, YK?
I'm fine. My weekend was okay. I went to a party, and I've kind of started my keto, so I drank plenty of champagne.
YK, is champagne keto?
She said champagne is keto.
YK, God help you. Anyways,
That's the
we
only
had
thing
fun.
you did in keto now. That's the only thing
No,
you take as keto companion.
I had stuffed chicken, chicken breast made for me yesterday. So, so I'm doing my own half-half. In the morning, I eat eba.
You know the good news about this thing is
In the
that
night, I
I'm
eat
happy
keto.
you're eating clean. You're making little effort to eat
Yes.
clean. And
Tiny
eventually,
steps.
you see.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well
Nima,
done.
let me
I'm
come
proud
to you.
of
How are you doing?
No, Nima is just super excited. So my birthday was last month, and my uncle was in the US at the time, and he sent a message asking what I wanted. I said I didn't want anything. Anything from you was nice. So yesterday, I got a gift of a nice,
really nice pair of shoes.
Very nice.
You need to come out. These shoes are fine, man.
Very nice. And a bottle of perfume.
Ah, that's
For
so nice.
me, my uncle, the one
How
I'm
to
talking
do your
about, is the
perfume?
publisher of Afema newspapers. He publishes the newspaper. For over 20 years plus, he's been publishing the newspapers from my area in Edo State, and gives us stories monthly of everything happening. So that was how I've always been in touch.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
From
Nima,
reading
please
the
come out
papers.
and show this
Even
shoe.
I have appeared on
We'll show it later.
I've been featured.
YK, I have to say that this scarves, I'm jealous of.
Yes, how
They're
come only
beautiful.
Nima got scarves?
I got scarf, but they're not this pretty, honey, YK. I got scarf. I'm not this pretty. She wore a beautiful orange one, I think. Very
Yeah,
lovely.
pink.
Even last week, I didn't mention it.
Now I've seen this lovely one again.
didn't
It's
mention
beautiful.
it. It's not
I
me.
didn't get this one. These
I
are
didn't
like
get
my
anything
colors.
at all.
Okay.
No, I didn't buy. I only bought scarves for Morayo and.
Yeah, because I said I wanted
Morayo said she wanted, and I was just testing her to see if true she wanted
I've been
scarf.
wearing it for the interview. I've been wearing it for the interview. I'm using it as my stuff, but
have to
these
see.
are lovely colors. Really looks really nice on you.
Me, I like to tie them at home. I'll try them
I
long
even
like
want
this.
this color. No, so can you return it?
No, sorry.
Miriam, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing fine.
Naomi Campbell is your name now. After this hair
Oh my
is expired.
God.
You actually look like Naomi Campbell. What's up?
I'm fine. My kids are back to school. We had this very funny conversation yesterday. So my son is I'm still helping him to do stuff. So my daughter was like, why do you keep, there's a story their grandma told them about a 16-year-old boy that still had things done for him, and he was a big for nothing. So she used it to yab her brother. He said, you're going to grow up to be that 16-year-old boy that has things done. He says, if that happens to me, whose fault is it then? It's poor parenting. I think he's watching Your View too much.
Jesus
The boy
Christ.
is watching Your View too much. He said, it's poor parenting, it's not my fault.
Hilarious. Kids are so crazy.
I'm telling you, what they have in their heads.
I'm telling you.
I hope you had a birthday party for him.
We didn't have a party, but we just...
Must it be party every
exactly.
time?
No.
We are now in
You
recession.
know my definition of party is different from
YK,
yours.
which country are you living in? We're not in recession.
In Nigeria, yeah, there's no recession.
There's no recession.
Go and tell people that are suffering from lack of money, whether they are in recession or not. Government had their own recession 2 years ago. We didn't feel it. Now we are feeling it. We have started to feel the recession.
Anyway, I think on Wednesday we're going to talk about the cost of rice.
Yes.
A lot of people are complaining about the costs.
Oh.
Things are pretty expensive
Should
now.
I start crying?
Don't start
Maybe if
crying.
I start
YK.
crying on
Wait
this
till
station.
tomorrow. You're on the show
Yeah,
tomorrow, so hopefully we'll discuss it tomorrow. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll look at the top stories in the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with the punch. Buhari receives envoy to South Africa, orders evacuation of 640 Nigerians. Will Falana's magic wand free Showore from DSS grip? Makinde Ajimobi's aides at war over Oyo Festival Forest. I paid only 8.9 billion naira the day before handover, says ex-Bauchi governor. Secure release of abducted Kaduna-bound Kwaran, says Abdul Razak. Lagos NURTW resolves crisis. Agbede endorses MC Oluomo. I didn't demand 10 million naira from Pato Imbo, says Busola Dakolo. Some people plotting to set Nigeria on fire, says DSS. Trade uncertainty rising in Nigeria, says IMF. Jonathan accused me of being Buhari boy, says Adoki, and Obaseki asked aides to ignore Oshomole.
There's a story on the car accident.
Yeah, I wanted to take that story.
Rescuing a victim killed while fleeing.
The tipper, it was a tipper driver. He was driving, and then these hawkers were playing, and then they pushed one of them into the mouth of the, what do you call it? The tipper.
Yeah.
And he ran over his leg. So he parked, the tipper driver parked to go and check the boy, and his mates now chased after him with sticks and stones. And
Did they kill him?
They killed him.
They killed him inadvertently because while they were beating him, he
tried to escape.
He tried to escape and ran across the road, and he was crushed.
Oh, Lord.
By
the hawkers who were guilty in the first instance mobbed the driver who tried to respond to an accident he thought he had caused. Yeah. And, they still pushed him into an oncoming vehicle to his death.
Sad story.
It's very sad. It's very annoying and very sad. But you see this Lagos Ibadan road, at that Kara end, Kara Ibafo, that was where the accident happened. That place is popular for roadside hawking. And then they play along the road. This is a major express interstate road, pushing your mates around like that to death.
Okay, Fatou Imbo, what's that story?
Okay, I have it. So what's her name now? Dakolo, Mrs. Dakolo. Yes, Busola Dakolo has taken the pastor to court, and he's been asked by the court to appear before it in 14 days, or else a judgment will be passed even in his absence. And she also named Pastor Matthew Ashimolo of KICC as one of the witnesses. And she also clarified that she did not ask for 10 million because it's been going around that what she asked for 10 million. What she's asking for is that once the judgment is passed, that he makes apologies to her on TV and in the papers for 7 consecutive days, and that's what she wants.
And again, 10 million was the cost for lawyers, I believe.
The bloggers carried 10 million naira damage. And, part of some of these civil suits is that you ask for damages in monetary terms. People are claiming that that's what she asked, which is not. I read
and she has declined that that's not what she read. Yes. And even if she wanted to claim the 10 million is like...
She's entitled to it. She suffered for years.
So if she wants to claim 10 million is not even part of it at all. 100 million at above.
Not make the money.
Moving on to The Nation. Buhari to South Africa. Stop attacks on Nigerians. Shiites dead IGP Adamu on planned procession. Shell loses 202 million naira daily to vandals, says, and oil thieves, actually. Ashimolo to testify against Koza pastor. DSS alleges plan to destabilize Nigeria. And Senator Tinubu El Rufai win. Okay. Shiites, very quickly.
Okay. So the Shiites had planned the procession which was supposed to hold today, but the IGP is saying because this group has been proscribed, any such procession will be a terrorist act. And that, that is warning them. They are also daring in that they will go ahead with it, whether there's a prescription against them or not, saying that, that the, what they call the procession is part of their rituals.
It's something to celebrate or somebody's death, and it's a peaceful procession.
Okay, Shell?
Shell. So the Shell Petroleum Development Company is saying that they lose about 11,000 barrels per day. That's almost 202 million naira as a result of vandalism and theft along their pipes. So they vandalize it, and that it causes, not only do they lose money, it also affects the communities in which these people live. And he says that this is so sad because the Niger Delta, that the Shell itself, apart from doing business with the government, also does CSR for the communities. And the Niger Delta community has received over 2 billion naira from SPDC JV and is yet to develop anything. He says this region is so blessed, not only in the natural resources, but also the revenue that is allocated to them, but you do not see anything.
I hope that the indigenous of Niger Delta finally believe that, you know, that the resources, the money is not in the pipeline, because this was a language used by the military then to always tell them that development was coming. So they went to the pipeline to get their monies. But
okay, there's one more story that caught my
costing
attention.
us
DSS, you know, in view of all the fake news stories, fake videos passed around recently, consequently, the DSS is saying that these are being orchestrated by people who want to set the nation on fire. That it actually is intentional, and they're trying to bring up all these fake stories to cause the civil unrest amongst Nigerians. That we need to be careful, and they're going to obviously look for the perpetrators and definitely bring them to book. Moving on now to Vanguard. South Africans plan ambush for returning Nigerians. 2011 post-poll violence certificate scandal, why Jonathan declined to prosecute Buhari, says Adoki. Makinde Ajimobi trade words over revocation of 26,000 hectare land. 1.3 million teachers face sack as new session begins. And Showore's detention. Judge, lawyer exchange hot words over case file. Let's talk about Showore for a second. What happened there?
Showore's lawyer appeared in a court, Justice Maha, I think that's her name, her court in the Federal High Court in Abuja, claiming that, you know, that his case file was with her. She had listened to the 45 days, to revoke the 45 days detention order, and the case file was still with her, but the case has been transferred to Justice Taiwo's court. They are claiming that she's holding on to the file deliberately. But she's saying administratively, it's somebody else's duty to pass this case file. So the lawyer came to her courtroom to confront her, which she, you know, found insulting and disregarded him completely. She continues with her court business.
Okay,
Ajimobi and
yes, Makinde.
His commissioner found out that he.
Let me
You know what happened? Don't look.
Okay, all right, I get the point. But what happened in the story was that they found out that former Governor Ajimobi had allocated 26,000 hectares of land to his aides in their forest. Very, according to them, very juicy, fertile lands. Now, they had responded from the Facebook post saying that they actually, the former administration was pioneering agriculture in the state and trying to get people who are ready to invest in agriculture to take out those lands as farmers. But they're saying, how can you take the whole 26,000 of the juiciest of the land, the best of our forests, amongst yourselves? So that's debatable, but is the article that was here. Why do you want to add to that?
60,000 hectares.
Fabiola has revoked the...
So they're trying to revoke it.
Makinde. Yes, they are saying they can't take that land. But you see, what is questionable for me is, you gave the land to yourself and your people, your aides.
That's what Governor Makinde's government is alleged, but we don't know that for a fact yet.
Yeah.
So we'll still have to see.
People who have
but Makinde answered that they got the land legally now.
That's what Ajimobi
And they paid for it.
Okay, there's one more story. 1.3 million teachers. They're saying that if they don't register with the, I think it's the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, by the end of this year, December, many of them will be fired. About 1.3 might be fired because they need to have certain qualifications before they can now be part of that group. So if they don't have that qualification, they might end up being fired. Moving on very quickly to the Nigerian Tribune, IGP to IMN, any procession amounts to terrorism. 2 killed as 5 injured in Plateau attack. Our members fought dirty in Rivers, Oshamale confesses. Primary schools in deplorable condition despite federal government intervention, says investigation. Oyo governors revokes acquisition of 26,000 hectares of forest land. I think that's the other story. We've taken all the other stories. Any other?
Primary schools across the country, with over how much we've been budgeting in the past 14 years for primary schools and secondary schools in the country, they are still in a deplorable state, according to this article. They've investigated across board, across capitals, and, you know, they found that even upon resumption, most of the schools are not good enough or meeting the standard to accommodate children for learning. I think it's something we should investigate. I wonder why we deliberately, you know, after budgets, over our budget and budget again, don't
just the figure in the past 14 years that the federal government has put in UBEC is 469 billion naira and 40.
Okay, Daily Sun, which are final paper. Buhari, Nigerians must be brought home now. I think that's the only story we've not taken. What's that story on the South Africa?
So we're looking at bringing about over 600 Nigerians that in South Africa who have been affected by this. These are voluntary. They are voluntarily registered to come home, and they are going to be brought back in 2 batches. And the envoy as well has gone to speak with, of course, the South African counterparts, and they're saying that they will help in making sure that the few Nigerians who are involved in illegal activities will be prosecuted. But they're also demanding that the investigation, which has about 8 South African police officers now arrested for their involvement in the xenophobic attack. So Nigeria is saying that we need to find out we need to make sure that this investigation
according to Abikeda chairman, they said that 4 have been charged to court. 4 others have been arrested, so they're going to follow up on that story. And they also advise Nigerians that have stores and shops in volatile areas not to open for now, at least until things die down. And those who have voluntarily decided to come back home, they're not asking her that, what plans do we have for them? And she's like, well, they voluntarily went, and they're voluntarily coming back. So they can also sign up for other governmental programs to assist them in setting up in Nigeria, but it's not their own total, complete responsibility. Okay. That's all we can take on Front Page. When we come back, quite a few stories caught our attention. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we found this story online about a lady actually, who received a birthday surprise from her fiancé at her workplace. There were fireworks, a saxophonist to spice up the surprise, which attracted all her colleagues in the office. On citing this, her boss got furious and in turn chased the saxophonist away and issued her a query. Professionally, do you think it's ethical, or is it ethical to do surprise parties for your loved ones in their office environment? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. Okay, so when I read this article, I remember that, I think it was when I was working in the US, there's a company called HealthNet I used to work with. And somebody tried to do that. Somebody brought in, they actually surprised with balloons, the whole works. And she got queried because her family, they came in during working hours. So, in fact, all her colleagues were even scared to stand up to go out because they knew that because you are being billed by the hour, by the second. So, the moment you stand up from your desk, you have to say, I'm going to the toilet or I'm going to whatever you're going, they have to always register every movement. So they were so scared of standing up, but she was happy, she was excited, and I knew that her supervisor gave her a query that day. So when this happened, I remember that incident. I'm thinking to myself, okay, but here we do it. It's part of our, our life here. We kind of do it. So let me come to you, YK. Your thoughts on this? If you're a boss anyway, would you?
Because as I was saying, that as an employer of labor, if that happened to my staff, I would, jubilate with my staff. But that is me. And it's a totally different. If you do it at TVC now, and Mike is reading news, and somebody starts jubilating, Mike starts looking at the...
distracting him.
Everybody's going to get query. Those who stood up, those who
were just passing by,
celebrants,
and the saxophonists.
Everybody will be queried. So I think it just depends on the person, and it depends on the company, not the person, the
employer.
Yeah, the employer. So
let me come to you, Nima. What are your thoughts on this? When you heard the story?
So when I read it, I found it was the boyfriend who wanted to surprise her. So I felt, is your guy in love with her? Since your guy is also male. Yes, it sounded like a Mills and Boom story. I read a lot of Mills and Booms growing up. It sounded very much like a Mills and Boom story where a guy is dragging with the girl. But then again, if your workplace ethics does not allow this kind of activities, I think you should talk about it with your boyfriend. I don't want to believe that her workplace didn't allow it and then he tried to pull it there. He could also have surprised her at home early in the morning, but he thinks, and it's becoming a practice these days. Everybody's surprising, videos everywhere on Instagram. Saxophonists have created a business for themselves. I don't know why the Oga will be so strict with it. I find it very...
Let me hear your own thoughts on this.
So, sorry, can I just ask? You said it depends how you should have found out, but you will not know that your office doesn't allow it until it happens to you.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
I think you should know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you work in an office. Every business has its ethics. You should know No. You should know to a large extent the sort of thing that will be allowed in your office, and to a large extent, family members and close ones who are able to do this sort of things for you should be aware.
They don't know.
No, they should be aware that there's some
How
things.
will you know
There are
now?
some very conservative business places.
Right.
So you should be aware that this place is conservative and may not accept something like that. So this is something you could do immediately after office hours in the car park or something. But to bring it into... I remember when we used to work in the bank, it would have been, when I used to work in the bank, it would have been a serious offense to have someone, because you would distract a lot of things that's happening. There's more. Yes, and the thing is, in Nigeria, once we pick something, we pick it up with all the good and the bad. So you see something on TV that Hollywood is doing, in Hollywood, which is not real life, and then you bring it into your real life, and then when you get queried for it, you have people like Nima asking if the Oga liked you before. Instead, is that you have broken the rules of the office, you understand?
But they don't write it as rules. They don't write it as this, don't have any surprise party. Yeah. And even if they wrote it as rules, you are not going to know that your spouse or your boyfriend is going to surprise you. Right. That is number one.
It's an assumption from the thinking that, look, it's okay. That
and you see, like my cousin's office, my lawyer's office, you cannot surprise anybody there because only staff have access with your tag to go in. Yeah. So if you come with that kind of surprise, you will surprise them downstairs in the reception.
Yeah. Okay, let me take this call. Andrew, are you there?
Yes, I'm online.
Thanks for calling. So do you think it's ethical to do that for your colleague or for your friend?
Well, it depends. No matter how small the establishment is, nor how high class the institution is, you do the best to carry on the management team. It's a surprise. You carry on the management team along. Mm-hmm. You could, within the cadre, not pass on to those people who actually want to pull that surprise along with to the celebrant. You could lead them, but the top management staff should be aware of it so that when you pull it, it becomes a surprise to the entire office and that individual's cadre. I think that's the best way to do it.
That's a good point.
Because you wouldn't even know if the management team have an activity for that day, then you would have succeeded in messing up.
Fantastic. That's a fantastic point, Andy, because so just like she said, people just adopt all these nice things, concepts from all over the world without putting the proper things in place. So go and contacting your guys, your friend's boss, coming to management, say, I want to do this, so please, how can we do it? Yeah. They will now tell you, sorry, it's not allowed in our office. Yeah. But just going there assuming that it will be accepted is wrong.
So, and then there's one thing as well. There's some things that top management can get away with. You, auntie, that you're just coming to work 1 year into the job, be careful. So they can throw a surprise party for your boss, but you may not be able to get that same treatment. You should know that you are not exactly like your boss, so there's some things you would not get away with. Yes,
White Lion is saying, I believe all companies have break period. They should have used the break time for the surprise. Work time is work time. They are paying you to work.
My own, remember, you guys did it at the end of the show. We didn't do it right in the middle of the show.
I was even, I can remember clearly when my baby shower was to happen in the hospital. Tokpa had come like a week before, and I didn't know why she wanted to see the Apex nurse. It was deliberately to plan this because nobody would have allowed anybody to shower nobody inside the prenatal.
Let me take this call from Motorways. Morning, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling, Saj.
Yeah, my name is Saj. I'm calling from Lagos.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Auntie Annie, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry, I want to contribute to the EU on the TV.
Go ahead.
Okay, just like the last caller expressed, it is important you get the company informed. And if you don't want to get the company informed, there is a way you can do it. Like what I did on my wife's 40th birthday, I actually organized it with a colleague in the office, but I use the break time for their office, and I have to do it outside their office. So in everything you want to do, you must respect that organization. Then you have to know what is happening in that organization. And if there's anything you want to do, always protect the interests of other workers and the interests of that organization.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Saj. In fact, actually, now, that something came to mind. Surprises. Have you experienced any really phenomenal surprise from a loved one? Okay, well, we're going to go on a break. When we go on a break, when we come back...
You people were involved. They knew about it.
When we come back, we're going to ask our viewers to call and share with us their experiences for surprise parties, surprise anything that you have that really moved you. We'd like to hear your own experience. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So talking about surprises, we'd like to hear from our viewers how your loved one surprised you either on your birthday, on any eventful day. And I think Waike would like to share with us hers.
Yeah, my 55th birthday was, you know, I'd come to the studio and I said, don't mention it on TV that it's my birthday. Let me just go and come. I remember Jumoke wasn't on set because Jumoke was fighting Murari them that if she had been on set, she would have announced that it was my birthday. I said, no, I just want quiet, you know. I went with my partner, and then he took me to a hotel. So I started fighting him in the car. That, where do you know this hotel from?
Kind of foolish.
Yeah. How can you know this place?
I've never been to those hotels.
I know those kind of. I was like, eh? What? Okay, don't worry. In the evening now, says my cousin now comes. Says she's passing by you. Let me come and say. I said okay, let's go. We'll go and eat Chinese. She comes to the hotel. I said, see the hotel. I don't know where you found this hotel. Can you imagine? We were still complaining. So we got this. I didn't even do makeup or anything. I just got up. My stomach, I didn't wear anything. My stomach was out like this. I was wearing this tight dress.
Oh my God.
I just got downstairs. I think it was stuck by I felt so. I was like,
This one.
Papa comes here. I started thinking, Tokwe comes to this place. I was like, wow. Then I think I saw Morayo.
I'm like, okay.
Before I just saw everybody. I just, I was so...
That was a Kodak moment. It was an amazing experience.
I was very upset for not letting me wear my girdle at least.
Imagine? Because I was even asking, should I wear this? We are going to eat Chinese. Should I wear my corset? They said, no, you're all right like this.
No.
All right. When I saw
Okay, let me take this call. Hello, are you there? Thanks for calling.
I'm here.
Good morning, Salami.
It's from Olowora.
Go ahead, please.
In October, I'll be 60.
Wow,
Just
congratulations.
last month, my children just called me. My baby just called me that I should come to his house, that he has something to report to me. I got there. I saw the elder one walking in with his wife and children. I was asking him, you two came? He said, they just came to greet them. Later, my first daughter also came in with her children. What's happening? He said, he just called them. And the son that called me was not at home. We didn't meet him at home. Later, he came back and was telling me he needed to report his wife to me, that he was having affairs. I said, what do you mean by that? Please, you started with your drama. The wife came in, knelt down, and said, the husband is reporting her. What's happening? He said, okay. The husband said, I have a cook downstairs. Let's go and see. There is the man. I've heard the man is downstairs. So we all went downstairs, only for my first son, the one that came in, to just dangle a key of God a key. I was just running round and round. And the one that called me was already filming me from the back. I didn't know. I was just running around and like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Ford escape jeep. In fact, it was fantastic.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
I couldn't even hold back my smiles, my everything. I started singing. Ọlọ́run ó ṣé, òkú ó ṣé o, èyí tó kù lẹ́yìn wá bá mi ṣe.
That's what they call Gen One more. Congratulations.
I want to tap into your blessing. This is something I would like to do for my mom someday.
Yes,
very soon. I hope I can.
Yes, that's so
But that reminds me, Sha, I forgot my own 50th. My partner gave me a car as a surprise.
Ah, okay.
See, and now you don't tire.
That's the car I'm still driving.
That's the car you're driving.
That's the car I'm still
For
driving.
me,
surprised.
I like to think that I'm very good at decoding people when they are trying. Like, it would be very hard to surprise me. So when you guys did the surprise saxophonist, I was quite surprised, but I wasn't too surprised.
Right.
Okay. So I was surprised because, well, I didn't expect anyone would do a saxophonist for me. I mean, it's not Mariah's thing. It's definitely not Nima's thing. I didn't even think that, so it was Tokwe's stuff. But also on the day, on my birthday, when we sat down and we were talking, usually when it's someone's birthday, we talk about the person. Oh, it's happy birthday, Mary. Nobody did anything like that. So I was like, what is happening? No. So it made me even more suspicious. That's something, I mean, this is not normal. But I was really blown away by the saxophone. You guys brought tears to my eyes. That's the reason why I don't like open stuff. Because I'll just be crying non-stop, you know. That was so
I always
beautiful.
craved for this kind of surprise, but it never happened. It was only when TVC had a surprise party for my send forth. And honestly, I wanted the entire team to come together to take a group picture because I like to have memories of all my team before I left. So I organized a candidate to come and take a picture of all the teams. So I said, guys, please come together. So I was thinking that everybody was just gathering everybody for that picture. So I came and I was excited. Okay, let's go and take a picture. And as I walked upstairs, I was shocked.
Yes,
they actually did a party. I was like, what is this? They were supposed to take a picture. And I was all this rubbish out, but it was exciting. But aside from that, I don't think I've never really experienced any surprise that blew my mind like that.
I think people should just be careful of that surprise, Sha. Because you don't know whose heart is.
I fought my husband for my birthday.
It's not a surprise. The person will just.
So my husband called.
I say goodbye.
He called me like a week before my birthday and said, it's our 10th year. I said, okay, what do you want? I said, nothing. He said, you don't want anything. You're just a strange human being. So we ended that conversation, and the next day we were having a fight in the morning. There's no money in this house. There's no this and that. And then he calls me that day. I was at work. Please pick up a package for me somewhere in Ikeja. And a friend of his was supposed to bring it. Okay, guy, bring the package. I was there already. Bring it to the road, so I cannot be parking. He refused to bring it. I said, madam, you need to come inside. Just please follow me. So because he's my father-in-law, and I call his friends my father-in-law. I said, okay, let me follow him. And I got there. He said, you have to pick one of this. It's been fully paid for, everything. I was like, this one, I did not have money this morning. I was fighting there. I didn't pick anything. We were there for like, I'm sure he's watching. We were there for, I was just going back and forth. Like, I don't use this kind of things. And, you know,
my husband does not have the...
You have to say it was iPhone.
It was an iPhone. So my husband does not have the... He does not know how to see through. He'll be so excited about it. He'll be like, okay, see, I was actually planning the surprise for you, but this is what I was planning for you. He doesn't know how to make sure and then wait till it happens.
I think I have a call. Good morning, are you there? Hello, are you there? Muyiwa, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Go ahead, good morning. Go ahead, you're live.
Yeah. My only surprise package was that it was a double package for me.
Double package.
I was at work that day. One of my managers told me that he got arrested by police. So he said he got arrested by police. That she rushed down to his house. It was my bad day. So getting to his house, I met my friend. Yeah, they told me that you have to raise money for him for bail. That he's not around, that they have to raise 20,000. So I was able to use my card. Let's go and raise the money.
Me, were you there? Hello? Oh, we missed that.
I didn't hear.
I also planned a surprise party for my husband for his 40th.
I was there.
It was a really nice, he didn't actually, because Femi, according to him, he has never really had any party. I think the last party he had, maybe it was 10 or something. He's never really had any serious party. So I planned, all the ladies were there, and we had this, I mean, Uwa was our host, that was the MC, and all the ladies came together, Jumoke, the whole works, and everybody he loved was there. It was an intimate party. You know
the funniest thing? He had said, told Mariah to invite all of us. And all of us gave one excuse or the other that we couldn't make it. So he was, see all of them, they're not coming for my 40th.
What happened was that we was have like a small dinner in the house with the ladies of Your View and Brown. So he now told me to call the ladies, just have in the house. I called all his friends, they flew from Abuja, people came in from all over. He was shocked to see people he grew up with, like about 8 of his friends that he grew up with in Ife were there. He just went on the floor, he just doubled on the floor. He was just lying on the floor. What the heck is this? He was shocked, but it was fun. So surprises are great, but do them in the right context. Don't do them in the offices where the bosses might have an issue with it, and plan it properly, and don't make it too cheeky. Or that one going to the mall and doing, hey, will you marry me?
Yeah, those are the
getting
surprises
too
I don't
cheeky.
get.
People there are not people you love. Personally, if you propose to me in the mall, I walk away from you. People there are not people you love. And like you surprise me amongst family and friends.
I've seen people surprise people, like at Freedom Park, the man will just come and then ask his girlfriend to marry him, and she's always there. Every time I see it, it's always exciting. It's just the one that will go and say no. You will be the one that will now correct surprise.
But Freedom Park is a nice
surprise.
There's something that they do now. I see it on social media a lot, but they do it mostly abroad, where it's like a mob. I don't know what they call it, like a mob dance. So you think it's just you. You think everyone there doesn't know what's happening, and then he does something. They start dancing to the same dance steps. That would be nice. That would be fun.
Okay, let's take a few tweets for a roundup.
That judge says, well, I think the man should have consulted his wife's boss to discuss with him about surprising his wife at work. He and his wife's boss should have discussed like men. And Ostino says, it would be nice if African women surprise their spouses. African men mostly take their wives out on their birthdays. This is unfair. Okay, this one has issues.
Atumisin says, I think the boss had an issue with the lady. No boss would want to scatter the whole thing just because of an inappropriate arrangement.
Okay.
Master John Adikwe, I don't know the nature of the surprise, and every organization has their ethics. Therefore, such surprises should be at the right time. During break, probably. But whatever the case, the boss seems to be interested in the lady.
As we round up, I think we just want to appeal to our loved ones. Please surprise your spouses. It's a wonderful experience, something the memory they have for life, and they can keep talking about it. So if you are there and you're watching, plan a nice surprise for their birthday, Christmas, Valentine's.
I surprised my daughter for her baby shower. Last year,
in the UK.
She cried. She had no idea. She cried.
Yeah.
It was quite touching.
That's all we can take on this. When we come back, it's Tuesday. We're discussing 2 important health issues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed the outbreak of yellow fever in Bauchi State. According to reports, this outbreak has allegedly killed 4 children, 4 students actually in the College of Education in the state. Joining us on the show is a senior lecturer at College of Medicine, University of Lagos, also a consultant public health physician, Luth, Dr. Olufela Oridota. Welcome to the show, sir.
You're welcome.
You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet us at TVC. Please connect, please hashtag YourViewTVC. Right, this issue going on in Bauchi State, what exactly, let's even start.
What's yellow fever?
What is yellow fever and how is the outbreak caused?
Yellow fever is one of the fever that when people have it, they can bleed from several parts of the body. Is one of the viral hemorrhagic fever. But fortunately, yellow fever has a vaccine. It's caused by a virus and it's transmitted by mosquito. So it's not really transmitted from person to person by you touching people, but mosquito can take it from one person to another person.
Which mosquito? The Anopheles.
The mosquito is present in our environment, it's Aedes mosquito.
Oh, yes.
So, and it's common in the environment. So what really happened is that they went somewhere and the mosquito bit them there and they caught it. But one interesting thing about yellow fever is that if the immunization in the community among the people there is high, let's say about 85%, in fact more than 80%, many of these problems will not be transmitted in that community. There will be a break in transmission.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the mosquito bites people, it's likely to bite somebody that is immune already. So
but yellow fever vaccines, I remember when we were in primary school, we all have that punch that they gave us, and it was yellow fever and something else.
No, I don't think that one is yellow fever. That one is smallpox.
Yeah, yellow fever and smallpox. We all got it in primary school. I remember
in the shoulder.
everybody would line up and they will go to schools and they will go to neighborhoods. So we just thought that that means it's been eradicated. So is it that it has come back, or it just never gets eradicated?
Unfortunately, in this generation nowadays, we take a lot of things for granted. Yellow fever vaccine was given at that time in the 80s when there was problem. And it's a free vaccine. It's even given to children at 9 months. But when you look at the immunization coverage generally, not only for yellow fever, for most of our immunization that we give, the coverage is so low. And in some cases, less than 20%. In many of these
I'm surprised it's free at the general hospitals.
That's why the problem is something we can tackle. It's something that individuals, the community leaders, people at the local level, they need to take actions. And there are things that are not difficult.
So I'd want to blame, sensitization for this. Because it's not as much as we'll hear of polio that we'll hear of yellow fever. People take it for granted that only when you need to travel do you need it. And even when you get to the customs, the people will also give you cards that you pay for rather than give you the vaccine. So are we not, is it that the awareness, we've completely disregarded this illness and there's nothing being done to sensitize people about the dangers?
To some extent, I will say it's from different directions. Because apart from the fact that we need to do a lot of communication, health education on it. There is misconceptions, there is misinformation, and for different reasons. Some people don't even want to take some of those vaccines. And there's illiteracy. There are problems in the environment, which I think can be tackled. One, we need to tell people about it.
Okay, so is it prevalent in certain regions or is it across the country?
Nigeria has been having this particular epidemic for some time now, since 2017. And it can happen anywhere. Although when we look at the immunization coverage for the country, it's about 50%. And some areas are actually low. When you look after our own Southwest, that have very high one. You see some states in Southwest getting about 30% immunization, for yellow fever. Lagos State, yes, good, about 85%. But when you look at it, we don't really have that coverage that can stop the transmission of yellow fever in many of our states. So some can even be as low as almost zero in some community.
Wow.
So, and this is something that we can do if we educate people, tell people about it. And the Aedes mosquito is not like the Anopheles mosquito, really.
Doesn't make sense.
It can bite in the day. It can bite in the night. So, of course, the person who is having that yellow fever attack, the problem, can sleep under net. But if you sleep under net doesn't mean it cannot really affect
Okay,
you.
please help me, because I think I'm confused. When I go to any hospital in this part of the country, either healthcare centers, there's always like a chart, like a roll-up banner that practically tells every parent all the various vaccines between 0 to, I think, 2 years. And it's there in your face. Is this kind of role, are you saying that it's not available across the country? Are you saying that most hospitals don't even know? So you have a child, you don't even know that by 9 months they should get yellow fever? Because I can practically see the schedule of the immunization I need to take in almost every single healthcare I walk into in Lagos State. Are we saying that it's not that other people in various states don't have access to this information and people are not taking the right vaccines? I mean, because I thought everybody was taking, immunization is free.
Yeah.
What the question you asked is quite important. And you're actually looking at one of the major problems. You are educated, you are enlightened, you know what to do. But most of our women are not like that. And the cost of transportation can even be a problem for some of them. And you see, some of them are not enlightened. They don't even know the right, they don't know which vaccine they're supposed to take. By the time they take the polio, they take some vaccine at home, they think that is the vaccine. And you see, there are people who make decisions before people can even go out and immunize their children. And so all those things may not apply to you, may not apply to a woman that is empowered. When you look at what makes a child to survive, the education of the mother is the most important thing.
Can I ask this question? If you don't live in Nigeria, so I mean, if you live in England, for instance, it's unlikely that you will take a yellow fever shot. What if you are coming to Nigeria, if you are bringing your baby to Nigeria maybe at 6 months, does that child need to apply for yellow fever immunization?
Would you advise the child to take yellow fever?
Because maybe the child is going to be here for a month or 2. Would you advise they take the
vaccine?
For a child that is just around 6 months, no. We wait till about 9 months. But when somebody is coming to Nigeria, it's good for them to get immunized if they are not immunized. Because if they are bitten by the mosquito and they pick up the virus, they may take it back to their country. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why there is an initiative now. We started in 2017 to eradicate yellow fever, to eliminate it. And they know it can spread from one country to another country within a very short time.
Okay, let me take this call from Habib. Habib, are you there?
I'm still there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
My name is Habib Olatunde. I'm calling from Oshodi.
Yes, go ahead.
This kind of awareness can be spread using religious medium, like churches and mosques. So it can even be taken to local government, from one local government to the other. So as a result of that, people can be able to know the exact thing that is happening. Because someone like me, I'm just hearing it for the first time that mosquito bites during the day.
All right. Thank you very much, Habib.
Okay. Mosquito has bitten me during the day.
Yeah, so I'd asked, the question I asked was if the yellow fever was ever eradicated at that time in the 80s when we were growing up, and maybe because we think it was eradicated, that's why we haven't pushed for immunizing this younger generation. Is that it? Was there ever a point that we eliminated it in our country?
No, there was never a time that it was eliminated. The issue was that there was a time when our immunization coverage was almost 100%. Was very, very high. So at that particular time, especially in the 80s when you talked about, almost everybody was immunized. Many of these diseases cannot really spread. Although we are hammering on immunization for yellow fever, but I want us to look at it. What makes mosquito to breed in a particular place? The environment. It's conducive for that mosquito to breed. There are stagnant water, the bush and co. And when you put all those things together, so many diseases, they go hand in hand. The other viral hemorrhagic fever and co. When you look at sanitation, hygiene, the cholera, and co, we just need to change as a people. There's no substitute for hygiene and sanitation, environmental sanitation. We need to change our approach.
Do all the vaccine you like, but if your environment is still like that, there's no way that
if that person does not get yellow fever, he can get cholera. If he doesn't get cholera, he can get another dysentery. He can get so many. So
I'd like you to talk about the symptoms of yellow fever and whether anybody that has been falls to it has any chances of survival.
Before you tell, just because this is Andrew from Streatham. He says, there is a brand of yellow fever sung by Fela Anikulapo Kuti. We need to sing. Do you know the yellow fever?
I know that one is the police one.
So can it be cured? Can it be cured?
It's the bleaching one.
Can it be cured?
Unfortunately, there is no drug that targets the yellow fever virus. And when people are infected, most of the people may not even have any symptoms, a lot of them. But people who come down with symptoms at that very early stage, it's difficult to really diagnose yellow fever because it resembles common diseases that we have, like malaria. The person will have fever, the person will have headache, malaise, generalized weakness. The person can have nausea, vomiting. There can be backache, there can be abdominal pain.
Do you get yellow?
That won't come at the later stage.
You become yellow, really yellow?
Yes. That's the reason why they gave it yellow fever, because of the yellowness of the eye and part of the body.
I'll come back to you. Let me take this call. Ngozi, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
You're a very long time. I've been trying this your over and over this past many years.
Thank God that you got through today.
Online today.
Thank God.
Thank you. I appreciate you, ladies.
Thank you.
About this, I see something that you people are talking about is that at times, when you go to all this health center, actually it's free and people are much there. There's some hospital you go to. When you go there, you have to pay. before you go there. And there's some people that they cannot afford the money. And going to that this thing, the health centers at times, maybe when you are working, going to that health center, it will take you time. You cannot stay and wait for them to finish before you go to work. So and they have to go to hospital. And when you don't have the money to go to hospital, what will you do?
Thank you very much, Ngozi, for your thoughts. Yeah, there was a question you're going to ask.
So I was asking that, is there does the person stand any chances of getting cured? And you said there was no particular drug.
No,
is there any other thing that can be done in case?
So just
okay,
the
let me
or
just
is
finish
there
on the
an age
symptoms.
limit? Okay, yeah.
So that by the time the first set of symptoms, 3 to 6 days after the infection, within a week of when the person gets infected, the person feels better. And a day or two after, then the real problem starts. Eye fever starts. That's when the yellowness of the eye comes in. And at that stage, many systems in the body is affected. What doctors can do is to try to bring down the fever, support the kidney, because there is really no drug. And
No
at
cure.
that no cure. At that stage, about 50% of people may actually die. So, but this is a disease that we can prevent with a vaccine that is free, that is available, and it can protect a person for life.
Is there an age limit to the
saying
vaccine,
that?
to
Are
the
you saying-
vaccination?
Yellow fever actually kills. I mean, there's no cure. I'm shocked. I always thought there was a cure.
Yellow fever was a very notorious problem in the 18th century, 19th century. It actually wiped out a lot of population in Europe and co. They learned after facing some of this problem. When you look at our grandparents and people who brought us up, they may not be as educated as many of us. But when you look at their hygiene, the way they keep their food, the way they keep their water, they take water from wells, some of them, and you look at the way, there is something they call hamuden. They just put a cup there. You can't put any cup in that place because those people have seen what diseases, what germs can do.
cause, yeah.
And the way we are living now, we need to be careful because some diseases that we have not seen, like you were saying, your thought has been eradicated, that we have not seen for a long time. Our way of life now give room for those diseases to come up, to really flourish. But many of these diseases, they have respect for good hygiene and environmental sanitation. But if somebody, no matter who the person is, if you are not neat, if cleanliness is not there, this is something we can do. Our people can do something at individual level, community leaders like the other callers talked about, the church, the mosque, the local government at different level. People can even mandate people in their community. Have you immunized? Bring your card. We can do a lot of things about it. It's not something we should sleep over.
I feel the need to take a yellow fever vaccine now. Is there a limit to the vaccine?
How many times you can take it?
Is there an age limit as well?
A yellow fever vaccine, one can take a second dose, but it's not necessary if you have been immunized before. Because one you've had before can actually protect for life.
Okay.
And vaccines or any drug whatsoever, it's not something you just take anyhow.
Like
Yeah.
So
I
just
can't
want
even
to
remember if my daughter was vaccinated
just quickly,
against it.
if you're in a community where you're the only one that's been vaccinated, does that protect you or you're still at risk? If you find yourself to be the only person in that community who has been vaccinated against yellow fever and everyone else around you isn't, are you still at risk?
If the person was vaccinated in time, long enough, because it takes about a month. In fact, within the first 10 days, quite a number of people that have been vaccinated can actually be protected. But it may take almost a month for the person to really get protected. So if the person is protected. But that community, once the herd immunity is not up to around that 80-85%, it can spread. And when you look at our national average, and the health workers are trying their best. In fact, we are actually fortunate to have the set of people we have in NCDC, because almost of the time, the simulation exercises, looking at what to do, but immediately you quell one fire somewhere, another one is waiting to happen.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this, but I think it's clear that we need more awareness, because there's a lot of focus on cancer and all the other diabetes, hypertension, but nobody's really talking about this virus, and it's really important that we do. But thank you very much, sir, for sharing this knowledge with us. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we discuss childhood cancer. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This is an annual international event to raise support, funding, and awareness of childhood cancer and the impact for sufferers and their families. Joining us on the show is a consultant pediatric hemato-oncologist, Dr. Sheye Akinshete. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Childhood cancer. I know this is the month where that's why we're having these yellow ribbons.
Yes.
You know, to show support. Tell us a bit about childhood cancer. How is it diagnosed? How does a parent know? I mean, a lot of people have no idea that kids can actually have cancer. And it's something that we need to talk more about. So tell us a bit about childhood cancer and how it's been detected.
Thank you very much. So childhood cancers, they've always been there. But I think with social media and with increased awareness and education, a lot of people are coming to understand that this is a clear and present danger. So annually, about 200,000 new diagnoses are made all over the world. With us in Lagos at the University Teaching Hospital in Idiaraba, we see about 100 new patients every year. And so they are in two main blocks. So we have the cancers of the blood, the ones we call leukemias. And then we have the ones we call solid tumors. So every organ in the child's body can have a cancer. So the one in the eye we will call retinoblastoma, the one in the kidneys we call Wilms tumor, the ones in the muscles we call rhabdomyosarcoma, and so it's like that. So, and then there are brain tumors. So this is the 10th day of the month. In the last 9 days, we've seen 3 new brain tumors presenting to us at the teaching hospital. Children. Ages between 8 to 13. So they are there.
How does a child get a brain tumor?
Wow. That's it. So generally in children, the cancers in children don't follow the pattern in adults. So with adults, they'll tell you, restrict red meat, don't take alcohol, stop smoking, all those kind of things. It doesn't work in children like that. So for children having cancer, a small percentage of them are what we'll describe as genetic or hereditary cancers. Let me try and clear that term. So within the sperm and the egg, what comes in them, so the genes that carry those sperm and egg, there are mutations in it.
Okay.
So that mutation is then transferred to the unborn child.
Okay.
And then the child comes down with a cancer. That type of cancer is the one that occurs in the eye, which we call retinoblastoma.
Okay.
Now, there are also cancers that are familial. So we have a family that the grandfather had prostate cancer, the mother had colon cancer, and then the child presented to us with a cancer we call Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that's another variant of it. But by and large, 70 to 80% are just spontaneous cancers. You have a normal child who is growing and then starts having this recurring fever. They've been to different hospitals. They've been treated over and over again. And then they then come to us, and it's not a good conversation that we have to, Parents have come, they expect you to say malaria or something, and then you tell them, I've looked at the blood film, your child's got a leukemia. The world literally stops in that consulting room. So it's
tough job you have.
I've been privileged to work with the Doctors Cancer Foundation, and when I saw children battling, all I kept wondering was how true is this statement that childhood cancers have the highest cure rate that is possible they get totally cured. How true is that, and what's the process that they have to go through? Looking at some of the children, you can hardly believe they'll make it.
So I think I just want to use this allegory. So if we look at, let's say, A Tale of Two Cities, we take an 8-year-old girl in the UK who has leukemia. This was real life, and we were counseling in the hospital in Birmingham. And after we finished talking, the girl starts to cry. And the only reason she's crying is because she's going to lose her hair. She's got beautiful long hair, and we've told the parents when we give chemotherapy, you will lose your hair. She's crying. But we can assure her mom that bearing all other problems, you're going to be there when she's doing her wedding or whatever. Now, take that 8-year-old girl in Nigeria, and you are talking to the father. This is a man who is earning 40,000 naira. The test to make the diagnosis cost about 300,000 naira. For us to say, oh, you've got this specific type of leukemia. The general test, which we'll call a bone marrow study, so we drill into the bone marrow, get a bit of the marrow, go and look at it under the microscope. That's about 5,000 to 15,000 naira. But the more specific test that tells us where those cells originate from, which kind of drugs to use, we can't do that anywhere in the country. So we send it out to South Africa. So it costs between 250 to 350,000, depending on how many markers we're doing. So you're telling the father that, I mean, you literally see that the parents are like, she is going to die as a death sentence. And so how do you want to build on your first statement that what you are asking them to pay to make a diagnosis is much more than what the family spends in 6 months? You expect them to spend that just to make a diagnosis. And then you talk about drugs. One of the drugs we use costs about 35,000 naira. They are going to use that 3 times a week for 3 to 4 months.
So the problem right now, see, I find it very difficult to have conversations like this when it has to do with diseases and illnesses in children. But it's even more heartbreaking when we talk about it in the Nigerian sense, because you've just given the real crux of the matter, which is we do not even have we do not even have like a social security system that provides basic health, to people, talk less of things like cancer. So usually when I talk about things like this, I like to say, what can we do preventive? Because right now, where we are now, it's...
Okay, before we go to preventive, actually, I want to build on what you said earlier. In your own practice, have you seen that HMOs have been able to cover any patients? Can we at least have that hope that at least our insurance policy, even if I decide to sign up for one, can help in that situation?
So I've been treating children with cancers now for about 12 years. And in 12 years, there's only been one patient who has had insurance pay for their care. One patient.
So is it that
Out of how many?
Do we...
in 12 years, one patient.
I know,
do you think that...
In that 12 years, I think we've treated approximately about 1,000 kids, at least.
So is this something that
1,000 children?
Do you think Nigerians just don't pay for insurance for health, or is it that we don't even have any, they don't provide that services for health, or is it that we don't even have any, they don't provide that services for Nigerians?
No, I think that I can't speak really to insurance, but I just want to give a broad view.
Yeah.
We run a capitalist insurance system where it's what you put in that you get back. Right. That's like what you have in the US. If you look at the UK and the Scandinavia, the insurance is paid for by government. So for them, health is a social good. For us, health is the exclusive preserve of the caregiver or of the person seeking the healthcare. So most companies, most insurance companies have an exclusion criteria. Cancers or chronic diseases are generally excluded.
You can imagine.
Now, what Nima said earlier, that cancers in children are curable, is that correct?
Very well, 85 to 90% of them.
Wow. So we should have that confidence that definitely a child will survive.
So we have survivors. Yeah. We do have some. So if we look at the cancer of the kidney now, the Wilms tumor, we're getting figures that are comparable to what you would have in the West currently. So we're having kids who come to us with stage 1 to 3 disease. We're able to save 85 to 90% of them. 5 years down the line, they are fine. In fact, we've got a cancer survivor who is, interestingly, a medical doctor now, who was treated by my bosses way back. So...
Yeah, okay. Waike, you wanted to go.
Yeah, I was going to ask, in this day and because the cancer seems to have blown up now, do you think it's the phones, the laptops that we put on our lap?
Let me pause you for a second, Waike. I'll come back to that. Let's put that and hold it for a while. Isabella, I believe. Thanks for calling. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
This is Elizabeth from
yes.
Badagry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I am a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Yes, I actually want to commend you ladies. You're really doing a great job. My calling this morning is to talk to Murayo especially. Yeah, Murayo, I don't know what you've done to my 7-year-old daughter, but she's obsessed about Murayo Afolabi Brown.
My regards to her. Thank you.
Yeah,
very much,
she watches every TVC show just to see the name.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. All right, so Mike was asking about...
yeah, so, you know, like when you put laptops on your lab, it's supposed to affect your sperm and all that. Do you think
radiation is part of it?
Part of it?
It's part of why the
sperm is contaminated.
No, I think that...
no. And young kids, like teenagers, you know, they're obsessed with their laptops, their phones.
So does it add to it?
So the radiation plays a huge part, but not that kind of radiation. So we talk about radiation. So if a pregnant woman has an X-ray study or a CT scan, there's a potential of that radiation damaging the fetus.
Right.
Now, there has been a large study done over a large pool of patients trying to link cell phones with brain tumors. And the NIH, that's the National Institute of Health in the US, has said no. There is no relationship between the development of brain tumors and the use.
Okay, let me come to Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes.
And a parent takes a child to hospital multiple times because it's malaria or typhoid, malaria or typhoid. At what point should a parent begin to question or begin to suspect this might be more than malaria or typhoid? Because we can do that for like 1 year. Oh, it's just a matter after it will wear out. So, and that can lead to the point where the child might cross over to the point where it's going to be difficult. So tell us about that process. When do we bring a child in, number one, to a specialist, and number two, what's the last age he's no more a child, such that cancer might become, is it malignant or malignant such that it's now maybe not curable?
Oh, well, thank you for that question. So the first thing is that parents don't owe a doctor the courtesy of you keep returning to somebody when your child isn't getting better. I think for us, we owe a duty of candor. If I have seen your child and I know that I can't give the care, I then have to send you to somebody who will be able to give you the care. Now, so if we flip to the parent side, I mean, you've gone to the hospital, you've been treating fevers for the last 2-3 months, and your child is not getting better, so he's still having the fever. Then you request the physician, can you please send me to somebody else?
Right.
If he doesn't oblige you, then you have the right, it's your child, to go to somebody else. If you feel, you are feeding your child's body and you can feel swellings or lumps, please don't wait. Just go to the university teaching hospital. There is no room for that. We lost a child last month, and it was painful because the parents actually went to a doctor. They went to secondary level hospitals, and somebody looked at the swelling, took out the lump, and told them to go home, it's fine.
The lump will spread straight.
And the child comes to us 6 months later with cancer all over the body.
Hey.
Now, that's a difficult conversation to have because it's always easy to say, oh, they didn't go to the hospital, that's why this happened. But now, these people actually sought the right things. They met the right kind of people. But this still happened. So it's a two-way thing. Parents, once you feel any lump, don't waste time. Once you are looking into the eyes of your child and you see a speck, when you look and the child's eye is looking like that of a cat, just pack your child, run to the university. You feel a lump anywhere in the head, go there. It's better safe than sorry. Don't assume. Don't wait.
Please, the
let's
difference.
just
do a distinction between a boil and a lump, because I've seen mothers take their children to roadside chemists and they use a syringe to pull out the pus from a boil. Please, what's the risk? This thing, they fear me.
No. I think I don't want to scare anybody. I'm just bringing.
But it's important that we tell.
I'm bringing out the bare facts. So, boil usually we say it's fluctuant, so it's soft. If you press the boil, you'll find out that it's soft. Lumps are firm. So when you feel them, they feel firm. Anytime you're feeling lumps around the necks, the head, of any child or around the tummy, and it's firm, I think she just sick yourself. Go to the...
Yeah, you also
cats,
mentioned
please
something
explain
about the
that
cat's
cat.
eye, because I'd seen somewhere on one of the international TVs where a lady said she was having like a FaceTime with a child in another country and noticed something in his eyes. Please, could you explain that to us? And found that he had cancer.
So that cancer of the eye, the one called retinoblastoma, what it does is that it affects the retina, and the retina is the part of the eye that takes the light that we see and takes it to the brain. Now, once the cancer covers that bit, if you shine a light, you shine a torch or direct a light source into the eye, it's going to reflect back to you like the eye of a cat. We call it the cat eye reflex. Once you see that, it's not normal. It's not normal.
But I'm not going to be talking to a child and shine touch in the eye.
So we encourage that mothers who have newborn kids in the first year of life, they should just
So just in 10 seconds, how do I check my child? What are the things I should be looking out for?
So lumps, check the eye, cat eye, check for swellings around the body, the tummy, weight loss, and fevers that don't respond. Then finally, blood transfusions that just seem to occur out of the blues. And then headaches. Yes, blood transfusions. And then headaches in a child who was previously well, but is now complaining of headaches bumping into objects.
Okay.
Danger signs.
On that note, we have to wrap up. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinshete. Whew, that was heavy.
Very heavy.
I think we might still need you to come back to enlighten us more on this childhood cancer, because a lot of parents didn't get the opportunity to call in. But don't forget, tomorrow is our live audience show. Please come early so you can get a seat. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.